Well, the big, beautiful wall that candidate Trump promised over and over again that he was going to build and somehow make Mexico pay for is looming over budget talks that could shut down the government. With a Friday deadline fast approaching, a source says one Republican proposal does not include funding for the wall, but has money in it for some type of border security. Even the president seems to be getting less urgent on the timing. Here's what he said today.
We're already preparing. We're doing plans. We're doing specifications. We're doing a lot of work on the wall, and the wall gets built.
In your first term.
The wall is very, very important.
In your first term.
Well, it's certainly going to, yeah, sure.
In your first term.
We have plenty of time. Got a lot of time.
White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer was asked about timing for the wall today and how the budget for it. Here's what he said.
There is a national and economic safety issue by having a wall that ensures our country's safety. And there's plenty of planning that can be done in FY17. We're going to continue. Our priorities are clear going into FY17, the remainder of budgeting for that, and we'll continue to ask for more in FY18.
So it's delayed for now?
No, I didn't. No. No one said delayed.
Well, you'll notice that in neither President Trump's comments today nor in Mr. Spicer's at the press briefing is there mention of a certain someplace south of the border called Mexico. In the case of Mr. Spicer, in fact, it was very clear that taxpayers, that means you and everybody here, would be paying for the wall, which, of course, is not what we were told on the campaign trail and one of the president's most ubiquitous and loudest rallying cries.
We are going to build a great border wall. We will build a great wall. We're going to build the wall. Don't worry about it. Oh, we'll build the wall. We will build the wall 100%. I promise we will build the wall. And who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who? It'll be a great wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. Mexico will pay for the wall. And Mexico's going to pay for the wall, and they understand that. Mexico is going to pay for the wall, believe me, 100%.
Well, Mexico's foreign minister, by the way, today said, quote, in no scenario will Mexico pay for the wall. Joining me now is Jack Kingston and Paul Begala. Paul, I mean, this was certainly one of the president's biggest campaign promises. How essential is it that he delivers, at least in some way here? Because Sean Spicer is very careful to say, no, there's not a delay, but there's certainly no funding for it, it seems like, this time around.
It's a tough deal because his base wants it. Rush Limbaugh, no lightweight, he went on the radio today and attacked Donald Trump, said that this was a cave. But I think if I go through them quickly, there's at least 4 reasons why he's doing this. First, we don't need it. The flow of Mexicans has, for 5 years, the Pew Research Center studied it, has gone back home. In other words, we're losing Mexicans. They're going home. Mr. Trump's wall will only slow down their departure. Second, it's not popular. 64% of Americans opposed it in the Quinnipiac poll. Third, there's no appetite for it on the Hill. Every single member of Congress, Republican and Democrat alike, whose district that wall would go through, opposes it. And finally, maybe most importantly, he's got a higher priority. Yeah, he said that on the campaign trail, but it was all a con. His higher priority he's already outlined, which is a massive tax cut for corporate America. $2.4 trillion he can find for corporate fat cats, but nothing for his base that so desperately wants that wall. That's his real priority, you can tell.
Congressman Kingston, I mean, first of all, the president should get credit because just since he's taken office, the number of people crossing over into the United States has dropped dramatically, according to officials. The softening of the language, though, the extension of timelines, I mean, are we witnessing the same kind of thing we saw with the president's effort to repeal and replace Obamacare here?
No, I don't think so. Number one, as you pointed out, those numbers are real. Illegal border crossings were down 60% last month. We're at a 17-year low in illegal border crossings. Enforcing the law works, and then the greater umbrella of immigration control and getting a grip on our illegal crossings, the president is delivering on that. And I want to say this, the policy is...
But what about the wall? I mean, is it crucial that he has to do that?
I think it's crucial that he absolutely has to fight for it, but I think the American electorate understands that he's fighting Chuck Schumer, a man who voted for the wall in 2006 along with his Senate colleague Barack Obama. And, but remember one thing that Paul and I know, and we've discussed, off camera a minute ago, is that the issue is great for us. And I'm just talking straight politics. This is not good policy. But sometimes a political party does well when they talk about an issue, and that issue doesn't have to get resolved. If we Republicans are the party of border enforcement, then it's a good issue for us. If Chuck Schumer wants to lead the fight against it, I know that's good in Democrat pockets, but I think that's why we won
Paul,
the
what about
election.
that? I mean, the congressman is saying, look, as long as he's seen as fighting for it, maybe he doesn't actually have to deliver on it.
Well, the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, said you can fool some of the people some of the time. And that's how Donald Trump got to become president. He got fewer votes by 3 million than Hillary Clinton, but he fooled enough people. And I don't fault those people, by the way. You fall for a con, it doesn't make you a bad person. It makes the con artist a liar and a bad person. And that's who Donald Trump is. He's conned these folks, many of them really good people, deep patriots who are really concerned about their country, with this whole wall
we
thing.
haven't been conned. His approval rating with Republicans is still 80 to 85%. Really, we understand.
So the con
he's
is
fighting
working.
Washington, and he's fighting for us, and I think that's what people see.
Congressman,
Jack,
is
he's caving on the wall.
Mexico going to pay?
I don't think Mexico is going to pay directly, but I think, as Jeff Sessions says the other day, there are a number of ways to get money out of Mexico, and one of them is the payments that go back for Mexican workers who are in America. There are ways through that, or through trade, through tax policies, to recoup some of this money. But I think
what is that, taxing the money that Mexican workers here in the country send back, or just taking the money?
I think it would be taxing the money that they send back. But Anderson, let me say this, and I'm speaking as a Republican. 70% of this battle is building the wall. We Republicans, the line about Mexico paying for it, I know it's a big crowd pleaser, but you could ask them in terms of voter weight, the value of that is a lot less than building the wall.
All right. Seemed pretty popular among those crowds, though, the idea of Mexico paying for it. We'll see. Jack Kingston, thank you. Paul Begala as well. Up next, first daughter